Hey, Queen City Minis, more fans, welcome back, folks. So, guys, we are dropping into a new year with Drop Zone Commander. That's right, guys, it's back on the channel. We're doing a whole series on getting started with it, as well as some battle reports here in the future. And I'm doing a series on starting a New Year, New Army project with a new UCM army. But, guys, should be a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to this experience. And let's talk about Drop Zone Commander and getting started in 2024. But to do that, we need to know what is Drop Zone Commander, and this is what their website has to say. So, Drop Zone Commander is a fast-paced game set in the far future. The game is 10mm scale, meaning mass city battles truly feel like a significant battle on your tabletop. Drop Zone Commander makes transports an integral part of the battle. Most, if not all, of your units will be dropped into the battle zone, and they can be moved around the board quickly via their transports. So if you're not familiar with Drop Zone Commander, guys, transports are a huge deal. Most units only move like a couple inches at best, and on a big table, they can't cover that distance. So you really have to use your drop ships to get stuff where it needs to be quickly and effectively. So drop ships and transports are a huge part of this game, and they're going to be your key to success within the Dropverse universe. Now, Drop Zone Commander has 5 factions in total, which have multiple playstyles and tactical options. Also, we're going to be doing a get started video for each faction here this month. So from small fast-moving scout vehicles, infantry units that search buildings for objectives, powerful tanks and walkers supported in the air by gunships, bombers and interceptors, and of course the aforementioned transports to move your forces quickly around the table. To succeed in Drop Zone Commander, you will use all of these options to their fullest. And no joke, guys, a great force within Drop Zone Commander is balanced between all of these to healthily succeed in your mission that you have moving forward. And guys, as we know, the key to winning is the mission itself. Getting started with Drop Zone Commander is easy. The core rules are available for free on the TT Combat's Drop Zone Commander website. And if you want even more detailed story, then buy the Battle for Earth book available in our web store. For those of you who aren't familiar with the history of Drop Zone Commander, the kind of like the home world, so Earth and a couple others were taken over by a force called the Scourge. Alright, they were basically decimated. All the humans left. The humans went to these little scattered worlds, built up a huge army, and now we're coming back trying to take them. So that's kind of the history. But the Battle for Earth book is like that story. And it's a super cool book. If you haven't gotten it yet, it's an awesome buy and something that you should get. You will also find starter armies for all the factions, as well as the many different fighting units for each faction. You'll also find the scenery to make your own exciting Drop Zone Commander game boards. So guys, TT Combat is the maker of this game. They have a ton of product for this game. It's a well-established game that's been around for a couple years. They have everything from tiny infantry all the way up to huge mech titans. It's a super cool game, and I'm super excited to jump back in it and start a new year, new army with the UCM. So let's get into some awesome ways to get started. Alrighty guys, so if you're not familiar with Drop Zone Commander, I think the best way to get started with this game is to do the 2-player starter set. So if you're new into wargaming or new to Drop Zone, this gives you a great way to get started. So it comes with the paper rule book. You get a UCM half, which are the United Colonies of Mankind. They're the green guys on the left, and on the right are the Scourge. These are like aliens that have come and invaded Earth, but we'll talk about them in another video. So guys, this gives you a great basis. You get 3 anti-air units per side, 3 standard tanks per side, infantry with their transports per side, and then you get a commander for each of them, as well as 3 medium transports and 1 light transport for each side as well. So it's a pretty balanced force. I will say the UCM kind of specializes more at longer range, so you do want to play with a bunch of terrain on the table when you use the 2-player starter set. But the good news is within the 2-player with addition to the 2-player starter set, you can get some really cheap terrain through TT Combat, or you can print your own off the TT Combat website just with a standard printer onto cardstock, and then you can just like glue it together, and it's perfect for playing games to get started. And guys, It's 45 pounds on here, so it's not that expensive when you look at a Wargame starter set, especially for what you get in the box, which is super cool. Really though, you also are going to need some dice and a tape measure to get started, so just be aware of that. And you're going to have to put these together. So within this set itself, you're going to need super glue as well as plastic glue, or you could just put everything together with super glue, so keep that in mind as well. Now, if you want to play a faction that's not here, such as the Shoutari or the PHR or the Resistance, we're going to have one-player starter sets. Or if you're like, hey, I don't want the Scourge, I just want the UCM, you can buy the UCM one-player starter set as well. And that's also a good way to get started in the game, but then you'll have to get a rule book as well, or use the free rules that are on the TT Combat website. So just keep that in mind. That's why I always like the starter sets, because you usually get a paper copy of the rule book in there, which is awesome to see. And sadly, the paper copy of the rule book just isn't as available in other places like eBay. I know with Warhammer, a lot of times you can see this, the rule sets getting sold pretty cheap on there, but that's not so for this game itself. So once you move past kind of the basic starter set of the game and get into bigger games, you're going to need a set of these. These are tactics cards. So commanders within the game have different levels, and the different levels let you draw different amounts of these cards, and these cards give you buffs or give your opponents debuffs during the game to help kind of change up gameplay, and that can be very key strategically when you play as well. So something to really keep an eye out for, and definitely something worth picking up. And at £6, they're pretty cheap. They are not locked to a single faction, so if you buy one box and you have 2 armies, you can use it for no matter what faction you play, which is super awesome on TT Combat's part. Now, another thing that's awesome is their terrain section. So this is the RuneScape that I have on here now. It's only £30 for a full table of terrain. Now, this is paper terrain, but I have found that this stuff holds up pretty well, it stores pretty well, and is very easy to put together. So it's something to look out for within the game itself. Now, they have 2 versions of this. They have the Cityscape and the RuneScape. The RuneScape are like crumbling buildings and stuff. The Cityscape is like pristine. So keep that in mind when you're buying based off of what you want to see. But for a full 6x4 foot table for £30, that's awesome. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, if you get the starter set, this set of terrain, and 2 sets of those cards, one for each side, or you know, if you just skip the terrain, that's still under £100 buy-in, which is great for what you're getting, especially within the wargaming community. You look at Warhammer 40,000 and stuff, to where your starter sets are like $200-300. This is pretty awesome to see, and you get a good variety of stuff within that £100 area. So super cool, something to think about for the future. Now, beyond the 2-player starter set and everything else, there are other ways to get started, and we're gonna go faction specific in some other videos. But if you do want a different faction, they have 1-player starter sets. I've got a couple of them up here on the screen. So usually it's kind of like double of what you would get in the 2-player starter set. So it's like 6 mediums transports, a light transport, a commander, basically like either 2 or 6 of the tanks, 2 to 4 or 2 to 6 of the anti-air, tons of infantry with some transports as well. So something to watch out for. These are a pretty good value, and you get like all the basic stuff to play with. And you can even both get, like if you and a buddy both want to get a different 1-player starter set and play against each other, you can do that as well. And they have quick like pre-made armies you can do too on the TT Combat website, and within the box they're like pre-printed army cards that show you what to take, and they're balanced within the other pre-printed ones as well. So super cool way to get started. Now, beyond expanding from there, they have these really cool little boxes. These are called armored battle groups. They have usually about 2 per faction currently. They may be adding more in the future, but these are really cool little bonus boxes you can buy to go onto the starter set itself. Now, it doesn't matter if it's the 1-player or the 2-player, these are awesome additions. They're little small boxes. They come with some more specialized units, as well as some more drop ships and stuff to kind of add to your forces to give them some more diversity. And a lot of them come at a pretty good little discount, so that's pretty good to look out for. Now, we're going to go more into these when we go into the faction specific getting started boxes, but keep that in mind. Now, Drop Zone Commander does have some big toys out there. These are the UCM Behemoths. Now, Behemoths came out in 2023. They are super cool models. They are massive though and come with a high both point and price point. And I hate to say this, guys, they come at a high learning curve as well. So these have super specialized rules, but are really cool to see on the tabletop. Now, if you're just getting started within the game itself, I would suggest not buying these right away. Okay, they are kind of more complicated to play with. They are very complicated to put together if you're not an experienced modeler. So just be very aware of that. Plus, they're usually better in bigger games of Drop Zone Commander. You can take them in smaller ones, but it's not really recommended when you get started. So just keep that in mind. Yes, these are super cool models, and yes, you can add them to your force, but it is better to make these like a later hobby purchase than when you first get started within the game itself. Alrighty guys, but that is our down and dirty, kind of rough way to get started with Drop Zone Commander. So we've gone over the 2-player starter set, we've gone over 1-player starter sets, the armored battle groups, trying to stay away from like the behemoth-y biggie stuff right away. And we talked about some accessories that are really cool to have, such as the command card stacks and the terrain from TT Combat. But guys, tell me down below what faction you're planning on getting started with in the 2024 year, as well as, guys, let me know if you have any questions down below. So just post them there, I'll try and comment, or if you're an experienced Drop Zone Commander player, let me know down below what your plans are for the year. Guys, I do want to thank all of you who have joined us today. If you are planning on getting started within the Dropverse, and you're getting your stuff from TT Combat, let them know that I sent you, guys, okay? So, thank you so much for watching, guys. Queen City Minis and more folks, signing out. Hey guys, thanks for dropping in and watching this video. If you haven't done so yet, guys, make sure you subscribe down below and check out our Patreon. Both go a long way to help support the channel. Like and share as well to help get this video out there through the YouTube algorithms. And remember, guys, if you want to check out other content, on Monday we talk Conquest, on Wednesday we post whatever video I have available or kind of want to do that week. Thursdays is Dropverse. That's where we talk about Drop Zone and Drop Fleet Commander. Fridays, Legions Imperialis, and Saturday is our Smackdown Saturday. That's where I'm going to be posting battle reports here in the future. And then the first Sunday of the month is always our studio update, where we talk about what's coming up, what we have planned, as well as go over any giveaways, and we announce giveaway winners then too. So make sure you watch that video here on the first of every month. Thank you so much for watching, folks. Please subscribe. Thank you again, and Queen City Minis and more, signing out.